So in today's video, I just thought I'd share with you my history on how I recognized I was a naturally positive and optimistic person. I've been pondering this point, and I think I'll always ponder it, is how can I bring you as much value as possible? Strategies, techniques, behind the scenes, things which, I don't know will give you value. Rather than trying to think through everything, I dump out everything. You can cherry pick what you want, and if there's benefit inside there, brilliant. If there's not, it doesn't matter. And I don't know if this is beneficial, but I thought it might be interesting. And it's kind of an explanation of why or how positivity is hardwired into me. I talk a lot about positive thinking and positivity, a lot of strategies and tasks and things you can go and do to feel that. And I practice some of it, but the truth is, for me, I have a naturally auto-generating system of positivity. And I want to tell you a story about how I recognized that, actually how I fully realized how true that was for me. My gear is optimistic, my gear is positivity, and I guess I overlook it as being something that's who I am. I don't think there's anything special about it. But for me, I just can't help but hunt down some sort of positive angle, some sort of optimistic take on something, which I just do inherently. Now, I'm sure that's always been there, but in terms of actually accessing it and recognizing it, actually, more importantly, finally owning it, did I really make that difference, make that shift, where I recognize that's how I see things. And to clarify, positivity, optimism, it's what it is about is recognizing the situation isn't as you'd like it to be, and then looking to find alternative ways, using the filter of positivity or optimism to get you there. So it's not about saying there isn't a problem and ignoring it and hiding away, burying our heads in the sand. It's actually saying, okay, right, the shit's hit the fan. What are my options? What can I do? How do I get out of this? What do I have to accept? What can I control? And then reconcile from there. So it's very clear, it's not about saying that everything's amazing when it isn't. So with that disclaimer in mind, the moment I remember that I acknowledged this part of me and then took real ownership of it and knew that there was never any other option for me, was obviously, as most things can be, comes from more challenging times. And this was a number of years ago for me. So at that time I was in a relationship where it was going fine, but after a while things were struggling. And in that time I was looking for work, and it was getting quite, well, desperate's the right word, but it was getting really important that I could find an income. And all that negativity or that criticism was coming through as pushing and grinding myself down. And I remember at one of my lowest points, a point that I can actually think is the lowest I could possibly felt I was doing. I was relentless, properly relentless, criticizing myself. And I remember thinking this one thought just clicked into my head, and I went, oh, fuck. And it was this is the one thought into my head. Well, at least you've got some interview experience. And at that point, it was like, if you can imagine like a green shoot kind of breaking through tarmac, or leaf breaking through tarmac. It was literally that moment when that happened. And I just went, oh, fuck, I can't do it. I can't push myself to that level. I can't criticize myself in that way. I am at the lowest level I've ever been. I automatically, at that level, push through and create some positive aspect on something. Now, as small and as maybe insignificant as that story seems, it was the turning point for me to acknowledge that actually I'm optimistic, to acknowledge that actually there was no point ever trying to push me back or push me down, because I'd always find something. Even my darkest points, I'd always find some way of looking at it in a positive or optimistic way, seeing an opportunity in the darkness, which is literally how it felt. It didn't get rid of the fact of the difficult conversation that needed to have happened. It didn't get rid of the financial issues. It just recognized for me that I had no other gear than optimism, than positivity. Once I acknowledged that and accepted that, I kind of relinquished the ability or even the desire to push myself down and to criticize myself. It's like, there's no point. you will go to a point of positivity relatively quickly. So I'm just going to go even faster. You know what you need to do. You know how your brain's going to work on on challenges that kind of come up. Continue to do so. And it made a massive shift in how I saw myself, how I kind of appreciated myself more. And from that, I share the story in the hope that you can't go and be me, you can't go and do this. But my hope is that we all have some moments where we can actually source optimism, positivity in a way that can actually help us. And I would suggest you go and do that as much as possible. Either, my quotes, other people's quotes, vlogs, other motivational speakers. Surround yourself with those energies as well. So this will help to lift you up. That's a strategy tacked onto something which is inherent to me. So I don't know if it's going to be help to you, but it's something to think about. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about me and positivity and how I use it, how I'm aware of it, and how actually it's my go-to gear in so many situations. Not as a tactic for you, but really as an awareness. But until next time, take care of yourself.